more you talk about your dreams, the less likely you are to actually achieve them. It sounds counterintuitive, but every time you share a big goal, you're not building it, you're sabotaging it. Think about the last time you told someone your plans. You felt that rush of pride, that hit of validation. But have you noticed how, shortly after, you lost the fire to actually do the work? You are currently exhausted from maintaining an image of success that doesn't exist yet, building castles out of mere breath. You feel a hollow echo when the lights go down, because you're spending your energy on the performance instead of the craft. But what if the reason for your stagnation isn't lack of talent, but a specific energy leak you don't even know you have? Today, I will show you the ancient secret of silent control. It's a ritual to turn your words back into power and find a strength that finally moves the needle. However, before you can master this strength, you must understand the invisible burden that is currently crushing your back, a burden that Cyrus, a man just like you, had to face before he lost everything. What he discovered in a gilded room is the exact reason your bank account and projects might be gathering dust right now. Cyrus stands in the center of the gilded room, the life of the party, projecting a confidence he hasn't truly earned yet. He's painting vivid pictures of the next big thing, reaping the cheap applause of people who won't remember his name tomorrow. You see, my friend, he's hooked on the high of being the man with the plan before the plan even has a pulse. But behind the expensive watch, there's a hollow echo. The brain is a funny thing. It can't always tell the difference between a dream achieved and a dream merely described. By shouting his intentions, Cyrus is spending his success fuel on a victory lap before he's even stepped onto the starting line. This is the invisible burden, the soul-crushing weight of maintaining an image that lacks a foundation. He is mentally depleted because his energy isn't going into his craft. It's going into the performance of being successful. But here is the terrifying part. While Cyrus talks, his reality is rotting. His bank account is stagnant, and his ideas are gathering dust. He has become a ghost in his own life, haunting the halls of potential. He is a seed left on a scorching rock, visible to the sun, but completely dead because he refuses the cold, lonely darkness where real life begins. Cyrus is about to realize that the applause he craves is actually the sound of his future shattering. But what happens when the mask finally slips? When he seeks out a master on a lonely mountain, he expects a new strategy for success. Instead, he is met with a challenge that could literally cost him his life. And it all starts with a single, silver needle that Master Theron is hiding in his hand. Cyrus reached the mountain plateau expecting a seat at a table to pitch his grand designs. But Master Theron didn't even look up. He knew that a man full of words has no room for the truth. When Cyrus tried to speak of the empires in his mind, Theron simply pointed to a vast, sun-bleached desert. "Your empires are made of breath," the master whispered, "and breath is the first thing the desert will steal from a fool." He handed Cyrus a staff and a simple, brutal rule for the journey ahead. For every sentence you utter about your future, you lose your survival. This was the ultimate trade-off, his life for his silence. As they walked, Cyrus realized he was addicted to the hollow sound of his own promises. The dry heat of the sun beat down, and his throat itched with the desperate need to explain himself, to sell his endurance to an audience that wasn't there. Without the applause of the crowd, Cyrus felt himself shrinking into insignificance. The silence acted as a mirror, reflecting a terrifying void where a solid character should have been. But as the thirst began to claw at his senses, Cyrus noticed something that made his blood run cold. Theron was walking effortlessly, holding a small silver needle that caught the cruel glare of the midday sun. Cyrus thought he was just fighting the heat, but he was about to discover that the master wasn't just a guide. He was a surgeon of the soul, and the vessel Cyrus was carrying was about to be put to a test that most people fail before they even realize the game has begun. What is the one thing you are saying right now that is actually draining your life force away? Theron stopped and handed Cyrus a new water skin, heavy, cool, and full of promise. "This is your potential," the master whispered. "You see, we all carry a vessel like this when we start a journey toward a dream. But the secret isn't just in carrying it. It's in making sure the vessel actually holds what it's supposed to." Overwhelmed by gratitude, Cyrus couldn't help himself. "Master, when I get back, I'm going to revamp the entire industry." Before he could finish the sentence, Theron's hand moved like a striking cobra, and the silver needle flashed. A tiny, clear stream of water began to arc from the skin, soaking instantly into the thirsty dust. Every, I will, every, I'm going to, and every, just watch me, became a new wound in the side of his vessel. My friend, you are witnessing the physics of failure. A man too busy describing his thirst to ever actually take a drink. Science tells us that when you announce a goal, your brain releases dopamine, a premature praise that satisfies your soul without you having to do an ounce of actual work. But that satisfaction is a leak. You are trading your life force for the cheap thrill of being heard. By the time the shadows turned purple, Cyrus's water skin was as limp as a dead leaf, and his tongue felt like a dry stone. He realized he was his own saboteur. The holes in the skin were the exact shape of his own reckless, validation-hungry words. But as he collapsed at the end of the path, holding his empty future, he saw something in Theron's eyes that was even more terrifying than the thirst. There is a hidden reason why some people can work in silence for years while you struggle to stay focused for a week. And it's tied to a mantra that most people hear, but only the elite actually feel in their bones. Cyrus collapsed at Theron's feet, his throat a dry desert, and his hands clutching the empty, useless leather. The silence was no longer his enemy. It was the only thing he had left to offer. Theron turned the flask over, showing the jagged holes Cyrus's own words had made. "You think the water was the prize?" the master whispered. "The water represents the focus required to turn a thought into reality. You see, my friend, when you speak your intent, you release the internal pressure meant to drive your hands to work. Without it, you are an engine with no fuel. Real progress is like a seed tucked in the darkness of the soil. If you dig it up every day to show your friends how much it's grown, it will wither. The dry heat of premature praise kills the life before it begins." Theron then delivered the mantra that changed everything. "Every word spoken is a brick stolen from your foundation. If you want a house that stands, you must stop handing out your bricks to strangers for the price of a nod." Cyrus felt a strange, cool peace, a silent strength. He didn't need validation anymore. The internal fire was finally enough. To cement this shift, Cyrus was given the 24-hour vow. Pick your most vital goal and tell no one for a full cycle. But as he stood to leave, he noticed Theron looking back at the desert path. There was one final, heavy truth hidden in the dust. A secret about the stones we carry even when we are silent. It's the reason why, even if you stop talking, you might still feel crushed by a weight you can't see. I'm about to show you how to drop those stones forever. As Cyrus stood to leave the mountain, he realized the internal pressure was no longer a burden, but a fuel. He was no longer a seed drying on a rock. He was finally a seed in the dark, fertile soil, ready to grow in the quiet. But my friend, the path through the desert is narrow, and your vessel may already be leaking. You've spent enough of your life begging for the applause of people who aren't even helping you carry the load. Many of the stories you hear here aren't just stories. They reflect the invisible weight you may be carrying every day. Just as Cyrus's words were the holes in his survival, your unsaid boundaries and unhealed guilts are the stones weighing down your spirit. If you're tired of holding pain, responsibility, and guilt that were never yours, I created a guide for this specific transition called The Weight of Stones That Are Not Yours. It is the manual for those who want to stop the leaks, let go of external expectations, and finally live with more lightness. But there is a reason why most people who try the 24-hour vow fail within the first 3 hours, and it's a psychological trap I explain in the very first chapter. To ensure you don't just try to change, but actually transform, I've included 2 vital bonuses: learning to let go, to help you identify which stones are yours and which belong to the world, and when saying no is an act of self-love, the ultimate shield for your energy. Your destiny is far too valuable to be wasted on the wind. Guard your energy, keep your fire contained, and let your results make the noise. The link to claim your lightness and the ebook is in the description and in the pinned comment.